bit of Ain't Sweet just to get the thing moving. We're here this afternoon to have a look at a very quite unusual concert ukulele by Bryce. Little known name. The model is, after BUL, it's in tiny writing, BUL 0002. 002, excuse the top of my head. Anyway, it's a very unusual thing. Before I get to specifics about this, I'll just tell you what little I know about Bryce. Bryce first came to my notice when I was looking for a cheap baritone for somebody, and they're selling the cheapest baritone on the net at about £28. But it looks rather peculiar, and I knew at a glance that it wasn't a baritone ukulele. But it wasn't until I got it that I realised the significance, the specifics of it. I normally, if anybody misdescribes anything or says something is what it's not, I usually raise a hoo-ha about it and object, because I hate people misrepresenting something. But I was so intrigued by this that I let it go. Specifically because I wanted to keep the instrument and put it back to what it was originally and have a go at playing it, because I'm intrigued by different varieties of kindred instruments to the ukulele. And this, I believe, is a Mexican jarana jarocho, or I shouldn't say this, because it indicates this instrument. No, I mean the baritone ukulele I was talking about. It was much bigger than a baritone ukulele. The scale length was longer. But the dead giveaway when you look at it is because it's got golpidors, or scratch plates, on the front of the ukulele there, which indicates it's going to be strummed in with a very high hand position in that area. And so there you are. I inquired about a bag for this baritone ukulele, and they told me, oh, a baritone bag should fit it, but of course it didn't, because it was much too big. So that's how I first came to see Bryce, and also the strings that they supplied for it were a full set of nylon strings for a baritone ukulele. In other words, you could have a full nylon set, just like a soprano ukulele, tuned right up to that pitch, should you wish to give yourself an ear trying to play it. Anyway, enough of what it's not. This concert ukulele that I've come across in a rather unethical way is just the opposite. It is what it purports to be, which is a concert ukulele in size, specs, scale length, and also the fact that it's got, yes, a full complement of frets, 17 frets, 12 frets to body, which is kind of unusual, because nowadays a lot of concert ukuleles are made 14 fret to body, but this is traditionally 12 fret to body but 17 fret, and they're all playable right up to the top there, just about, if you have the nice limber little fingers like I used to years ago. The action's quite good, as you see on this. Let's look at a bit more specific. We'll look at it from the machine head down. They are quite ordinary worm and pinion machines, but they work okay. There's the little bee, funny bee for Bryce on the logo there. It's probably all laminated mahogany. It certainly looks laminated on the top, for looking at the edge of the sound hole. It's very nicely appointed with white binding, and although it's laminated mahogany, it's quite nice figure on that top mahogany there. front's a bit more plain Jane. If we look at it a little bit closer, you'll see that it's got nice purfling. The purfling is the inlay next to the binding and the rosette around the sound hole. And it would appear to be abalone shell. And I say it would appear to be abalone shell because it's got all the right colours in there, from green to pink. The abalone being a clam, which when you eat the abalone leaves you with this wonderful multicoloured shell. But how I know that it's not the real McCoy, it's just a very good copy, is because there's no joins. It's all one piece. So it's a very clever plastic job, which is okay because it comes at a reasonable price. Now, I have to say, when I said I got it in rather an unethical way, it's not strictly true, but I bought this as a return. Shops get returns all the time for one reason or another, and sometimes it's for absolute trivial reasons, and other times it's because there's something serious with the instrument. And this had something serious with it, in as much as the bridge plate was loose, which is the plate of wood underneath the bridge, and it's a heck of a job to get at if you are repairing it, because there's only one way in, and that's through the sound hole. So you've got to know what you're doing, and you've got to have the tools to do it with. And a very good friend of mine did this, and he's made a very good job of it. The only trouble is that in the process, I don't know that it was in the process or whether this was done at the original shop, but there are a few places where the lacquer has suffered. I'm going to point these out to you now. There's a little bare spot. I'm just going to try and bring it. Can you see that? Next to the... And I say bare spot because we're talking about the lacquer, which has a very thin natural lacquer coat on it. And there's some other little marks on the side there. I don't know if you can see it in this poor light, but there are some other little marks which you can only see in a certain light, where the lacquer has suffered a little bit. So that's the downside on buying something like this, but it was worth the buy because it was repaired, and it now sounds absolutely... If anything is loose inside, incidentally, it's because of the nature of the construction. This is made as an amplifier to amplify the sound of the strings. So if there's anything wrong inside, like a loose brace or a bridge plate or something like that, it amplifies it, so it sounds absolutely awful when you strum it. So you know if anything's wrong internally. Anyway, it's got some modern features on, such as strap buttons fore and aft. I'm not too happy about where that is positioned because it's into the sharp grain of the wood. So if it got knocked or anything, it might split the heel. But there again, I wasn't the boss on the job that made it. And it sounds okay. It doesn't sound great at the moment. It's got nice rosewood bridge and rosewood fingerboard. It's got one of the features I like, which is position dots on the side of the fretboard there, because, as I've said umpteen times, if you play the ukulele in the proper position, you're not going to see the dots on the front anyway, unless you're playing into a mirror, which is a good place to practice. That's the second time I've said that in a week. So it's, at the moment, it doesn't sound particularly good, but I think it could get better. It's got a nice clear tone, and I think it would react well to being played with a pick of some description. See, there it is with just the ball of my thumb, and there it is with the nail. See the difference that makes? Anyway, I shall finish it off with one of my other default tunes to show off the tone of a ukulele, which is a nice little thing called Ukulele Lady. I'm not going to sing it for you and bore you to death, but we'll play the little break I do in the middle, which is something like this. I missed it. It's a bit out of tune. You can't win them all. Anyway, there it is, the Bryce concert model. I think I might have a bag that will fit this, but I'm not certain at the moment. Okay, look for it on eBay or phone me direct should you wish. Thanks for looking. Bye now.